You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. The numbers are not good. We're losing more residents every day. Today, my guest is from NAMI, Beth Lamar. Welcome, Beth, and thank you for joining us today. And NAMI is the National Alliance for Mental Illness, correct?
Yes.
So tell me what NAMI is.
So NAMI at a nationwide level is an organization that provides support, education, and advocacy for individuals who are living with mental health conditions and their loved ones, and provides community education just so that people have a better understanding of what mental illness and mental health conditions are all about, prevention, and stigma reduction.
You know, since COVID, we have all seen our numbers rise, whether it be substance use and mental health, or mental health and substance use, and along with alcohol. Mm-hmm. So have you seen your numbers increase with people looking for more and more help, more ways to get help, more ways to get seen by a doctor?
I would say definitely. We've definitely seen an increase in the number of inquiries about our support groups and our education classes. We've had more calls than ever for people who are seeking a psychiatrist or other clinical help out in the community, as the demand obviously does not meet the supply. That's why a lot of folks aren't getting help. And we've also seen increased engagement at school and community level for people who are looking for awareness presentations.
Are you hearing also from the psychiatrists about the low reimbursement rates? And a lot of the psychiatrists now are leaving Rhode Island because of the way the rates are.
We're seeing it on both sides of the coin. So the clinicians obviously have been talking about that for years, and it's still an unresolved issue, as you know, but also from patients who are seeking psychiatrists or other clinicians, and they don't take insurance. So the ones who are staying, unfortunately, have to be private pay. And regardless of how much money you're bringing in, if you need to be seen on a weekly or bi-weekly level, that can really add up fast.
Yeah, you know, it's very disturbing to me that the length of wait time to be seen by a psychiatrist or someone in the profession. Mm-hmm. It's not good if you call a psychiatrist and they say, well, we're not going to be able to see you for at least 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Mm-hmm. So what does that person do in the meantime? Right. A lot of things happen, you know, in their head, and whatever they're struggling with, it makes it worse when you know that you're not going to be able to talk to a doc or somebody in the profession for multiple weeks.
Yeah.
So my question would be, if you know, what would be the best scenario if you say, John, listen, I can't see you for 12 weeks, but maybe you should try doing this, or this to help you before we get to the 12 weeks?
We have one solution. I wouldn't say it's a solve-all problem. It's really just a bridge, I guess.
That's a good point.
Yeah, recovery takes a lot of different aspects, as I'm sure you talk about regularly on your show, and we only fit one of the spokes in the wheel. Right. But what we do offer is peer-based support. Mm-hmm. So at least once a day, every day, largely virtual, though there are a few in-person meetings, we have peer-based support groups. Mm-hmm. And that really helps people in the time in between visits or the time leading up to their initial visit if they're trying to get in with a clinician. Mm-hmm. And those groups are led by peers themselves who are living well with their mental health conditions, and have been, I've heard a plethora of anecdotal information about how that helped people before they were able to seek help, and it helps people in addition to the clinical intervention.
Mm-hmm. Now, your organization is countrywide, correct?
Yes.
All right. So your office here in Rhode Island is based?
On the east side of Providence,
Okay.
we do serve the entire state, including Block Island. There's an affiliate of NAMI on Block Island, and a lot of what we do now is virtual. So let's say an individual lives here in Rhode Island, but their loved ones are maybe in California or Texas or wherever else in the world, really. They can join virtual support groups for
okay.
families, and then they can help their loved one find local-based resources.
So how does that go? Because that's very interesting that you can have someone from California on, virtually, someone from Rhode Island as a patient, family members are out in California or whatever. How does that work?
So our support groups and education classes are kind of compartmentalized. So the individual themselves who's living with the mental health condition, which doesn't have to be formally diagnosed, by the way, they seek out support with their own peers. And then separate and apart from that, we have family support that's led by family members who have experience and who are trained in our programs. And we have all of the listings and information on how to join on our website. So if people are seeking a meeting, they can just go to the schedule, pick whichever group it is they want to attend, click the link. And we also have leaders from other states who work on our program specific to Rhode Island because their loved one lives here.
So you just brought up an interesting concept to me, is that you can go to the website, click on a link. Is it free?
Everything that we offer to individuals, loved ones in the community are free. So free support groups, free educational classes, free school presentation, free community, workplace wellness, all of it is free.
So how do you get your funding?
That's a very good question. We do get some money from the state, from BHDDH, that takes up probably about a fifth to a sixth of our total operating budget. We have piecemealed some other grants, foundation, private, and municipal. And then probably a pretty significant chunk of our budget is fundraising that we do internally. So we have an annual walk every year that makes up a pretty significant amount of our budget, pays for a lot of what we do. And we also have corporate and individual donors.
I hear that you're having a walk soon.
We're having a walk soon.
We're having a walk.
So, shameless promotion.
So tell us about the walk.
The walk is an annual event. It takes place this year on October 7th, which is a Saturday. It'll be at Roger Williams Park. It is free to register for the walk. In order to earn a t-shirt incentive, you would need to raise a little bit of money. Very little bit of money, but you can raise as much as you're capable of doing so, either on your own or with your team. The walk is usually attended by about 200, 250 people, although I do expect a spike in that this year. We have a lot more advertising and a lot more media partnership this year than ever. And basically it's just a good day for people to come together, get to know each other, broaden their network of support, raise awareness, and raise funds for the programs.
Unfortunately, what COVID did on the medical side now has brought NAMI and a lot of the other organizations to the forefront, knowing that to help with mental illness and substance use,
Yes.
Which is a good thing, but it's also a not so good thing because of the epidemic that we have. And I have a lot of folks that talk about their loved ones and the crisis that they're all in, both mentally and substance abuse wise. But I want to talk more about that when we come back. We're going to take a break. And I also want to make an announcement too that September is Recovery Month. And on September 17th, the Sunday, is the Recovery Rally in Providence. And on September 10th at Colt State Park, there's a rally there also. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. NAMI's in the house. National Alliance for Mental Illness. Beth Lamar is the spokesperson for the company today, and welcome, Beth, and thank you for joining us. You have a walk on October 7th.
Yes.
Where is the walk?
Roger Williams Park. We meet
Roger
right by
Williams
the
Park.
Temple to Music. You
All
won't be
right.
able to miss us. There's music and banners and all
Good.
kinds of action going on.
Good. How do people get involved? Do they call you? Do they get on a website? How's it happen?
So we do have a website. It's namiwalks.org/Rhode Island, or you can go to our website, namirhodeisland.org, and follow the links to get there. But if people have trouble and they need some help, we can help them register on manually if they contact the office.
You know, one of the questions I had previous to our discussion, the first half of the show, you do adolescents?
So yes and no. So we do school-based presentations. There are two different kinds. One is Ending the Silence, which is under our national organization's signature programs, and the other is Inside Mental Illness, which is specific to Rhode Island. And those are available at middle school, high school, college age level. Ending the Silence focuses a little bit more on the overall umbrella of mental illness and mental health, whereas Inside Mental Illness is a little bit more of a focus on decreasing stigma and increasing awareness, largely around signs and symptoms, how to get help, and suicide reduction. And apart from that, we are starting to venture into a little bit more of our regular programming, moving it down to the teenage level. So, for example, there's a program called NAMI on Campus that works with college campuses wherever, whichever schools want to be engaged in that. And it's sort of like an extracurricular club for youth around mental health. And we are now looking to move that forward into the high school level. And we also do offer some parent-based education throughout the year as well.
Attendance. You get good attendance with that?
We get pretty good engagement in the school programs, I would say. We reach out to every middle school, every high school, every college, every year. And over the past couple of years, I've definitely seen a rise in the number of schools that contact us and want us to come in and do those presentations. Last year, program year, we served about 12,000, almost 13,000 individuals total. So across all programs.
Now, do you work a lot with the school-based counselors that are in the schools? For instance, if we had someone in high school that needed assistance, and the counselor, would they call you, and then you would coordinate with the family? How does that work?
They can. So if there's a student who's in need and they see the counselor or a teacher or any other point person, trusted adult that's in their lives, they can reach out to NAMI. We can coordinate something to get the families involved in family support group and family to family. There's also an online-based course called NAMI Basics, which is specifically for loved ones who are supporting a youth under the age of 18. But yeah, we would be the point person. We can help them coordinate. We can also give them a couple of tools if they need to search for a clinician.
You know, I got to be honest with you, Beth. You are the best kept secret in Rhode Island right now. You know, I didn't even know that some of the programs that you have are out there for the public to access, or the schools to access.
Yeah.
This seems to be a perfect fit for Rhode Island right now, because the amount of calls that we get the sixth graders with behavioral health issues, we get sixth graders with alcohol poisoning issues, we get a load of phone calls, and we have to refer out, because that's not what we do. We're a trade organization, the Substance Use and Mental Health Leadership Council, but I'm glad that you came on the show, because I think a lot of people will get a lot out of this, knowing that we have an organization here in Rhode Island with a menu that you can pick from, rather than just a call to a doc saying, I can't help you for another 120 days.
Yeah.
I cannot help you for another 6 months. I am so backed up. I'm not taking any more patients. You know, so I think it's great that we connected. So I'm looking forward to doing more things with NAMI, and offering more programs. You know, we can talk after the show, because we have this great system where we offer trainings for individuals, and I think we need to reach out more to school-based parents.
Yes.
And let maybe sign symptoms and things like that. But I think at this particular point, your organization is it's a good one. It's a good one.
Thank you. I agree. I'm biased, but I agree.
It's a good one. How long have you been there?
Just over 5 years.
5 years. Have you seen a change in 5 years?
Absolutely. I will say that the numbers across all programs have gone up. The number of people in crisis, unfortunately, has also gone up. And we're not a crisis station. We don't have the ability to care for someone in crisis. We just try to refer them to somewhere that can. But we've definitely seen a high rise in the number of parents of adult children. We've seen a high rise in the number of individuals who are actively symptomatic who contact our organization because they don't know where else to go.
You know where we get a lot of calls and a lot of concern is the grandparents.
Sure.
Grandparents watching grandchildren or bringing them up.
Yes.
You know, a few years ago I had a conversation with someone who was running an organization. It was 10,000 children in the custody of their grandparents. Just in a conversation a few weeks ago, it's up to 12,000. That's concerning, you know, because you figure someone was in their 60s and 70s getting ready to retire. Now all of a sudden you got to bring up little Johnny because either mom and dad are incarcerated or mom and dad are no longer here. So I'm assuming that NAMI helps those type of folks with crisis questions and referrals and stuff like that.
Sure. The Family to Family class is actually available for anyone who considers themselves a loved one of an individual who's living with a mental health condition, whether they be a minor or an adult. So the program itself is only available to people who are 18 plus, but who have a loved one who's of any age. Same thing goes for our family support groups. And like I mentioned before, NAMI Basics is specific to people who are bringing up people, young people under the age of 18.
Your staff, are they all clinicians?
No, actually no clinicians.
Oh,
so
okay.
on staff in office is myself, an administrative assistant, and 3 people who do our programming, 2 of whom are under the peer department, who run the programs for individuals who are living with the conditions themselves, and 1 is a school and community program manager who connects to all those presentations I mentioned at schools and other different organizations. And then we have a consultant on staff who is managing all of our family programs, and someone who manages our website and social media, which are a wealth of information.
Yeah, great. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, I want to hit on that a little bit more.
Okay.
You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. NAMI's in the house, and we'll be right back after these messages.
And now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Beth Lamar is in the house, and she's with NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness. So, Beth, thank you for joining us today. I learned a lot today.
Good.
Normally, I'm pretty good at who my guests are, but you hit it out of the park today.
Thank you.
So I want to give you a little time on the walk,
Sure.
the website, the telephone number. It's October 7th at Roger Williams Park, correct?
Yes.
You have to walk, you can't run.
You can run if you want to, but there's no organized race.
All right. So tell us, how do we get to register? Tell us who we need to call.
Okay. Ideally, the best way to register is on the website, namiwalks.org/Rhode Island. And
Spelled out.
all spelled out, Rhode Island, all spelled out. You can also go to our website, which is namirhodeisland.org, and you can follow the links that are there. We promote it regularly, so on our landing page, there are some links there, as well as on our event page. Or you can call the office and we can help manually register someone. People want to get registered ASAP because the longer you're registered for, the more things that are available to you in terms of meetings, guidance, and incentive earning if you are fundraising on our behalf. And once you register yourself, you can build up your team, you can help get some donations and earn incentives that have this fantastic logo of NAMI Walks on it, and the more the merrier, so we're trying to make this our biggest walk ever.
Well, I want to first thank you for coming out today. Second, I wish you all the best in your fundraising, because I think your organization is the best kept secret in Rhode Island right now. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for coming on. We'll do it, absolutely do it again, because I think it's very important that people get information that you have with you. So September 17th?
7th.
Nope, September 17th is the National Recovery Month down in Providence. It's on a Sunday. And then we also have Bristol, September 10th. We look forward to seeing you there. Don't forget the NAMI Walk. We'll see you next week.